Hi, Sunnysiders. Miss Graham back with a story for you. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of having a hard time getting started this school year because I really miss everyone, and it just doesn't feel like we actually have gotten back to school yet. So I thought it might be easier for me if I went back to one of my favorite stories and two of my absolute favorite characters, Frog and Toad. And so I'm going to read all of these chapters of Frog and Toad together. And I think it's going to help me and maybe you get back in the swing of school. All right, let's see. When we read this story, I want you to think about characters. This really is a book about the characters. We have Frog. Okay, Frog's the green one. And we have Toad. Toad is the brown one. And they're very different. They're opposites, but they're best friends. And let's see as the story plays out, what's it like when opposites become friends and how sometimes it actually can work out really well. So this is called Frog and Toad Together. Frog and Toad Together. We're going to start with the first chapter, a list. Does anyone ever make lists? I'm more like Toad in this story. I like to make lists to keep track of what I'm doing. A list. One morning, Toad sat in bed. I have many things to do, he said. I will write them all down on a list so that I can remember them. Toad wrote on a piece of paper, a list of things to do today. Then he wrote, "Wake up." "I've done that," said Toad, and he crossed out "wake up." Then Toad wrote other things on the paper. Let's see what he wrote on the paper. A list of things to do today. Wake up, eat breakfast, get dressed, go to Frog's house, take a walk with Frog, eat lunch, take a nap, play games with Frog, eat supper, and go to sleep. That's his day. There, said Toad. Now my day is all written down. He got out of bed and had something to eat. Then Toad crossed out, eat breakfast. See, I'm like Toad. Then I feel very productive if I can cross something off my list. Toad took his clothes out of the closet and put them on. Then he crossed out, get dressed. Toad put the list in his pocket. He opened the door and walked out into the morning. Soon, Toad was at Frog's front door. He took the list from his pocket and crossed out, go to Frog's house. So far, so good, Toad. Toad knocked at the door. Hello, said Frog. Look at my list of things to do, said Toad. Oh, said Frog, that is very nice. Toad said, my list tells me that we will go for a walk. All right, said Frog, I am ready. Frog and Toad went on a long walk. Then Toad took the list from his pocket again. He crossed out, take walk with Frog. Just then, there was a strong wind. It blew the list out of Toad's hand. The list blew high up into the air. Help! Cried Toad. My list is blowing away. What will I do without my list? Okay, so Toad's freaking out. Hurry, said Frog. We will run and catch it. No, shouted Toad. I cannot do that. Why not? Asked Frog. Because, wailed Toad, running after my list is not one of the things that I wrote on my list of things to do. Frog ran after the list. He ran over hills and swamps, but the list blew on and on. At last, Frog came back to Toad. I am sorry, gasped Frog, but I could not catch your list. Blah, said Toad. I cannot remember any of the things that were on my list of things to do. I will just have to sit here and do nothing, said Toad. Toad sat and did nothing. Frog sat with him. After a long time, Frog said, Toad, it's getting dark. We should be going to sleep now. Go to sleep, shouted Toad. That was the last thing on my list. Toad wrote on the ground with a stick, go to sleep. Then he crossed out, go to sleep. There, said Toad. Now my day is all crossed out. I am glad, said Frog. Then Frog and Toad went right to sleep. And that's the end of the list. Just think about the characters. Think about how they're different in this story. And then we're going to read the next story tomorrow. It's called The Garden. And that's a great story. So stay tuned. We're going to read that one next. Thanks for listening. And I hope this helps you get back into the swing of school. I know it's going to help me. Bye.